This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, so we can open up the brand new year 2025 by telling you this may be the last year I ever watched that piece of shit football team that has been kicking me in the store for 65 years.
Kevin, was that record time? I think that was less than.
I don't know why I thought he had some groundbreaking news. Like, I was like, what? Ooh, I was not in on this production meeting. And nope, New Year, same Vikings. That's what
God, I just, they were horrendous. I mean, not just, they weren't just lame or kind of bad or, they should have done some other things right. But they were horrendous from open to close.
Yeah.
Am I lying to you?
No, that I don't even know that was actually the Vikings that showed. Like, that wasn't the team that's played all year, just been kicking ass.
No.
And it was, and for me, it was the build up to the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the biggest game in the history of the NFL. Vikings versus Lions, number 1 seed, and then the Lions showed up ready to play, and we were like, we're going to sit this one out.
I just don't understand why the Vikings just can never get it done. Since I was 7 years old, I've been watching this crap hole. 7 years. That's all I have to say. 65 years of my life, they've ruined my life. The Twins at least won a couple of World Series. It's been a long time, but at least they've won a couple of World Series. Mm-hmm. This team has never come close to winning a Super Bowl. They've been in some, but they've never won one.
Yeah, but even then, it seems like the goal has never been
further
away. Like, despite how easily close the teams they were mentally and emotionally so far away.
Why? God hates me. I've decided that. That's what it is. God, this is my fault. I'll accept 100% of the blame. It's my fault. 31-9. You're inside the 7 4 times and didn't get 1 point out of it?
Oh my gosh, we were
on.
Like, it was it got to the point where it felt like Kevin O'Connell, because that's what the Lions are known for, is going for it on 4th down, and we're aggressive. And so it felt like we have to out Lions the Lions. We have to be more aggressive than, and it was like, just kick the freaking field goal. We can't do anything right. Just field goal and let's go home.
I just don't understand why it is that this team just can never get it right. They just can't do it. So what do you guys, okay, you guys are the generation right behind mine. What do you guys see? Because I've been talking about, well, they'll do this and they'll get much better, and don't worry about it, folks. They'll get there. Well, I can't lie to the people anymore. In my lifetime, this team's never going to get there. This team has sucked from day one.
Yeah, I mean, today it definitely feels like we might as well just sell the team and move into, overseas or something. But like, I don't know, like we just weren't ready, or we thought that for some reason we thought it was going to be easy. It was a complete egg laying for the entire team, from the coach to the last player on the bench. So hopefully we can get our act together and get back to it against the Rams, but it's not a lot of positive things you can say about the game.
You know what's so great about that is yesterday I was around one Minnesotan during the game yesterday. Mm-hmm. And the game's going on. The Vikings are just looking horrendous. They can't score from the 6-yard line. 1st and goal from the 6, 4 different times, and they didn't score 1 point. Any of that, right? And you know what this one young woman from Minnesota said about that?
What's that?
Oh, but the coach is so cute. Really? We're going to talk about how cute the coach is? Is that what we're going to talk about?
He's quite the looker, ain't he, Tom?
He's quite the looker. Why? Why me?
Yeah, and I think technically wasn't it 8 times, because we had the one possession, and then we got the turnover, got back to the red zone, and it was just all a mess.
They had like 4 trips to the red zone and didn't convert on it once. They had multiple goal to goes and couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the one maybe only bright spot is the defense at the start of the game for that first half, when everything seems to be a little more scripted and stuff.
Right.
The defense was actually playing pretty well considering what they went in with. It was 10-6 at the half.
Yep.
The kicker, Will Reichard, for some reason kept pulling all of his kickoffs to the left and put them at the 40. just absolute catastrophe. They didn't lose them the game by any means, don't get me wrong, but it didn't help at all. If they could have, they were in a spot where I feel like if Sam Darnold connects on a couple extra passes at key moments, they're probably going into the locker room up 14-7, 14-10, like with a lead. And then it just, that first half was just a nightmare. So.
Okay, I got to run something by why this is so important to me and why I take this so personally, because I do. There's no question about it. Their first year was what, 60 or 61? The first year of the Minnesota Vikings, I think it was 61, but I'm not sure about that. I think that's right, though. We got Tevin Hart at it. He's figuring it out.
61.
It was 61. Yes, there you go. So for the first few years, I've been a baseball fan since 1961. I was 9 years old and all the rest of it. I didn't really watch much football. Played a lot of football, just street football, not organized. But I became a Viking fan, and this is why I take this so personally to this day. My brother was in the United States Marine Corps during the Vietnam era. He was in the Marine Corps for 5 years, did a lot of tours, did a lot of this. I mean, the guy put his life on the line for the United States of America. When he came home, he said, Tommy, let's watch the Vikings. I said, what's that? I had no idea what the hell, because I got to be honest with you. I'm only, 13, 14, something like that when he got back. I said, okay, well, yeah, sure. Let's watch the fight. I thought we were going to watch a movie about some guys on a ship, So the Vikings were pretty good back then in the not mid 60s, but the late 60s, they got really pretty good and all the rest of it. So I must tell you that all of these Vikings losses like this, I take very personally because I go back to seeing my brother again for the first time in years when he got home from the Marine Corps. And just having him around and celebrating victories of the Vikings and being all excited. So every time the Vikings lose, it's like, oh, you dishonored my brother coming back from Vietnam. Is that what you're doing?
Because they definitely did that yesterday.
Well, yeah.
They won 100. Like, I would be offended even if I'm not a Vikings fan.
That performance was something close to a war crime, so yes. I get it.
Well, see, now you guys have it dialed in. You understand exactly my problem. It's a war crime when the Vikings play football.
It's against the Geneva Convention.
It was bad enough where I don't even feel bad that we're a 14-win team that has to go play a road playoff game now. We deserve to go play on the road. Can we play the Eagles somehow in Philadelphia? Is that allowed?
I mean, the Vikings, and I got to be honest with you, the North Stars, because they were our first professional. They might have been a professional hockey team before that, but I don't know about them.
Yeah, the St. Paul Saints was one for a certain point. Not the NHL, but they were professional technically.
Back before the North Stars?
Yes, yeah, I want to say in like the 50s or 60s.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, there you go. The two sports that we should win in the most, football and hockey, we've never won the title in either sport.
Right.
The two were maybe one thing. I got to be honest with you. I really do appreciate it, God, that I was alive during the Minneapolis Lakers era. I wasn't a huge fan because I was a little kid, but hey, they used to kick everybody's ass. And I mean, and don't forget, one year the general manager of that team that was kicking ass was.
I can't.
You know very well. Maybe you guys might. Yeah, you'd know who he is because his son still works in town. You know who managed that team for 1 year and nobody knows about it?
Who's that?
No, maybe not.
What?
You keep going. I was going to say something, but then I thought, nope, that's
no.
Dumb.
Well, let me see who it was.
I was going to say, was it Lou Nanny? Just because it feels like a Lou Nanny type of thing to randomly
hockey
manage.
Deal. No, it was Sid Hartman.
Oh. Martina Navratilova.
Martina Navratilova. God damn it. I still love that so much. I do miss Sydney. I used to go over to Lincolndale with Sydney all the time and have lunch with him. And there's so many of those great lunches. I mean, we said one of my all-time favorites is I'm having lunch at the Lincolndale with Sid Hartman and Kiss. Like, what?
Yeah, that's still like the most random. Like, it's like Like, how is Kiss there? And Sid at the same table? Like, what is going on?
We're sitting there just having a great time and, laughing. And I thought to myself, how the hell did this happen? But see, that's the whole problem I have here. We cannot win in the two sports we should win in the most. And then, we sell the team off and haven't won a basketball game since when the Lakers. I still don't understand the Los Angeles Lakers. You don't even have a good lake.
82. 0-82 for the last 40 years.
That's
Well, it's true. Okay. Honest to God, that game again yesterday, it's like, God, why do you do this to me? Why? Does it have to be so horrible? That's the part of it. It's not just, oh, you know what? We got edged out. We lost by a couple of points. That's, you can see that. They got slaughtered. They didn't have one good play, did they? One?
The last play, when it was over, and we didn't have to watch anymore. That was pretty good.
That was a great play. I don't have to watch this crap anymore.
Yeah, they'll jog to the locker room in routine fashion.
I just can't sit around watching this stuff anymore. I just can't do it. That's all there is to it. And then of course, I had to get a call from a friend of mine who's pretty liberal guy, but he had to go on and on and on about this. He had to talk about politics and all this stuff because apparently there was some big article about how, I guess CNN has no ratings left at all. They completely have disappeared from the news deal. And so he wanted to talk all politics. And I don't want to talk about politics while my team's getting their ass kicked on national television. So, it was a horrible night. Let me put it that way. Yeah. I had to talk politics and a horrible football team.
Which I probably almost would have rather talked politics than
You think so?
And the day started out so great too. Packers, they lost. Oh my gosh, this is great. They're the 7 seed. Now we're gonna get the 1 seed. No, we're just laying eggs all over the place.
And I want you to know, God, and I'm talking directly to you, God in heaven. Thanks. Here's God to me sounds just like Sid Hartman. Here's what we're going to do. We know Bernard's coming back from vacation, so every game's going to be at 8:30 at night. It's like, oh, Jesus, thanks. I have to get up and do a morning show, but that's all right. Don't worry about me, God. Because the game this week it's a 7:20 start, something like that.
Yeah, so with the time difference for you, it'd be like an 8:30 Monday night.
Yeah.
On a Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, you just made me choke. On a Monday.
Have fun with that.
Oh, God, why? God, can you give me just one Super Bowl before I find out I got some debilitating disease or something? That did happen to a friend of mine's father, by the way, with the Minnesota Twins. Back in the day, they won their first World Series. And a friend of mine said, oh, Tommy, would you come with me over to North Memorial? Because my dad is a huge Twins fan. I said, yeah, absolutely. So I went over there with him. His dad could not understand one word we were saying. He was a huge Twins fan, and we're telling him, lying in a hospital bed dying, that his team won a Super Bowl. And he's like, I want a piece of bread. I was like, oh, no. So there was no upside to the whole deal. His team finally won a World Series, and he was not cognitive enough to know that it had even happened. So I'm thinking, and you two are going to have to report back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The only time the Vikings are ever going to win a Super Bowl is when I'm on my deathbed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Jude's coming in.
So let's get cracking here, Tom. I'm getting impatient.
I would assume we'll all be dead before the Vikings win a Super Bowl.
Catherine.
What?
What'd you think of that game last night?
I bailed. I don't even know that.
You just bailed on it.
The way you're talking,
honey,
here,
don't stand like that because it looks like you're.
By the way you're talking here, I'm guessing we lost.
Oh, so you did go to bed?
I did.
They lost by like 25 points or something.
Yeah, the Lions scored another touchdown, and I was like, I'm out.
Okay, dear. Good to see you.
Bye.
Love of my life. See that? Now that's good.
Yes.
And you guys,
So
I'm sure,
I think.
you guys have the same situation. I just, like when she walks by me in the morning and she goes, "Good morning, hon," and I just go, Don't give me that good morning, hun stuff. Let's go with the kiss. Let's go. Here we go.
There we go.
I just love the fact she walks. She goes, "Hey, how'd it go, Connie?" "And I bailed."
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, geez, I suppose we better get going here. Sorry about that. I got you guys way behind, and it's my fault. And God hates me because I am a Viking fan. That's all I have to say. God, stop punishing me. I didn't mean it. Did we ever have a professional football team before that? Maybe we did. I don't think we did, though.
Duluth.
Eskimos.
Oh, yeah. The Eskimos. That's right. The Duluth Eskimos. Very good. Oh, look at you guys fingered
2
on
weeks
the
of
trigger.
studying for that one moment.
Finger on the trigger, shoulder to the wheel. You guys know all this stuff. Lady, oh God, I am so glad, because I don't pre-read commercials, so they sound more natural.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really glad that I looked at the first line on this commercial sheet.
Yeah.
Because if I had just started reading it, I would have said, "Tom, please ad-lib the front half of the spot." I'm really glad that I saw that first. And then, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the deal. Message listeners to Tom Barnard Show. I have an announcement for you. Yes, the Vikings lost. No, that's not the announcement. I need 5 of you listening to do me and yourselves a favor. I need you to take advantage of a free offer. I said it's free, and I'm very serious. Seriously, it is free. I need you to call Josh Arnold. He's a very good friend of mine, 952-925-5608. And again, I don't say things like he's a good friend of mine unless he is. I think the world of Josh. He's a great guy. He's a very honest man, too, which matters to me. Tell him that I sent you, 952-925-5608. Josh will meet with you for free and give you advice on investing, handling, and making money. He'll answer any and all of your questions about retirement, your 401k, your IRA. See, I don't know anything about any of this stuff. That's why I need a guy like Josh Arnold. I had got no idea what the hell I'm doing. That's about most things. And by the way, it's free. What do you have to lose? I'm talking to you. Do you hear me? Be one of my 5 listeners to pick up your phone right now and call 952-925-5608 and ask for Josh, Mr. Money Talk. He'll give you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your investments for free. So call Josh now, 952-925-5608. But you got to tell him that I sent you. Then call me afterward and thank me for the free service. Don't worry about it. We got you covered. Don't worry about a thing. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. And I am a paid endorser.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Let us take a second to talk about my bank. You know that would be North American Banking Company and Bilski. Just talked to him just before the show. Look, there's no shortage of banking options in the Twin Cities. If you're tired of just being a big number to your big national bank, well, be sure to talk to my friends at North American Banking Company. They do a great job. I've been with them for years. And I got to be honest with you, if I hadn't been with Bilski for years, I'd probably be a disaster. Well, I'm a disaster anyway, but I'd be an even bigger disaster. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as other banks, but with the unparalleled service of a community bank. I also like being able to go to any of their 6 Twin Cities locations: Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. I got a look who's with us. My goodness, Big Shot.
Gentlemen.
The reason I bring Big Shot up because I just saw that Ross is going to be with us at 8:30 because, what's that guy's name? Egret?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Clyde Egret, is that it?
He's too depressed off last night's Vikings loss, or what's his story?
No,
you're already shoulder to shoulder with us.
He gave a subtle shot last night. He texted me. He goes, I know you guys have been off for 2 weeks, but I have been working for those 2 weeks, so I'm taking a day off. I was like, all right,
okay.
What do you want to do, Chris? I know you being a big TV guy, you can't talk to us little radio folk.
Yep.
Wait a second. How many newscasts is he on?
I think all of them.
So it was like 3?
Yeah.
So you got to do 3 half-hour shows, and you're worn out, are you?
Yeah. Well,
you know,
Jesus.
You've hit on one of my favorite topics. It's like radio guys. We're used to filling 3-4 hours a day of content, right? Yep. And then the TV sports guy comes in, and whoo, those 12 minutes I was on camera today. Oh man. That was so. I'm gonna need I might take a couple weeks off, take some vacation here, go to Cabo.
Worn out. I'm absolutely worn out. That's all there is to it. No question about it. But I just, it's. Phil, I don't know if I want to talk about the Vikings. I can't take it anymore. Since I was a little boy, they've been kicking me right in the seeds.
You know, we could talk about the actual successful football team that went down to Charlotte, North Carolina, and pulled out a Duke's Mayo Bowl victory over vaunted Virginia Tech University, P.J. Fleck and the Golden Gophers. A Duke's Mayo Bowl championship for the ages.
Duke's Mayo Bowl.
That's right.
That sounds like you have a disease in the crotch area.
Yeah. Well, and the game was so good that nobody's actually seen any highlights of it. The only highlight you see is PJ Fleck getting mayo dumped on him by Flavor Flav.
That's the best part. Yeah, instead of doing like a Gatorade bath or like an ice water bath, you literally take the mayonnaise bath after the game is over.
Right. Gee, I got to be honest with you, and I have no excuse. I hate mayonnaise. Ugh. I could put a little on like a BLT, but these people that put it on like an inch thick, it's like, oh God. Well, I think that stuff is just nasty.
So part of the entertainment, what I do appreciate with some of these lower level bowl games is the self-deprecation, the self-awareness.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And so what they had the play-by-play guy on TV and the color commentator. Between breaks, they had those guys sampling Duke's mayo on different food items. And so, but it wasn't just like a BLT. It was take this dilly bar, chocolate and vanilla in the middle, and dip it in Duke's mayonnaise and take a bite. God. And one of the play-by-play guy live on the broadcast threw up in the garbage can. I don't know if that's like great advertising for your product that the play-by-play guy is throwing it up on live TV, but good for Duke's mayo.
Why are they doing Fear Factor in the middle of the football game?
I got to be honest with you. I just, why? When you look at that and go, is this a good idea? Let's take a look at our product. And you're going to say on national television, a commercial, hey, try Duke's Mayo. Duke's Mayo sounds like sperm.
It kind of looks like sperm.
And it looks like sperm. It's like,
unless they want to advertise on the Tom Bernard Show, in which case we love Duke's Mayo.
Duke. Send it over.
Send it over. Let's go.
10 different flavors. Yes, we'll try them all.
Oh, Jesus, ish. That's all I have to say is ish. There's a big ish on top of it, too.
Tom getting Duke's mayo drenched over him for the show. Yeah.
Dripping with Duke's mayo. That's a really, really great point. But look, I don't know what to tell you. I've been a Viking fan, like I said, since my brother got home from the Vietnam War when I was, I think, 11 or 10 or 9 or some damn thing. And I've been trying to be a Vikings fan my whole life, and it's just getting harder by the minute.
What year did the Vietnam War officially end? Was it 72?
Officially end? Yeah, that's probably about right.
So the Vikings haven't been to a Super Bowl. So we ended Vietnam like a half decade after the Vikings' last Super Bowl appearance.
That's
75.
Correct.
75. Yeah. It's crazy, man. And if they would have won last night, it would have been such an easier path because then you don't have to play the first round. You sit, you rest up, and then you host the divisional round, and you'll be favored in that game. And now here's some. All right, I'm going to give you fine lads. Some optimism here. Positive Phil is going to bring some optimism to the conversation.
Here we go.
Right. So in the last 20 years, there are 4 instances of teams playing on the road all 3 rounds and winning the Super Bowl. So this could be the Vikings here. The 2005 Steelers, Bill Cowher was the coach. The 2007 Giants with Eli Manning, the 2010 Packers with a young Aaron Rodgers, and the 2020 Buccaneers, they did have Tom Brady, so that's kind of a cheat code.
Yeah.
But it has happened before where you start on the road in the first round and you make your way through to the championship.
Can we just do anything before I perish? We won a couple of World Series, thank God. But is there any way we can win a Super Bowl before I just give up the ghost?
You're going to have to tell us how many years you think you have left, and then we can maybe do some. What's the expectancy here, Tom? Let's get down to it.
I got to be honest with you. That's one of the first things I thought about because Sid and I were really good friends. Sid Hartman and I were good friends. Chad and I are still really good. I adore Chad Hartman.
Me too. Love Chad.
He's a great guy. But the fact that Sid never got a chance to see his Vikings win a Super Bowl is really sad.
It is. And the fact that he could have lived until he was 105 years old and still would not have seen the Vikings win a Super Bowl.
That's very true. Sydney, we miss you. That's all. The things that, very quickly, I'll get through this very quickly, I promise. So I get a call from Sydney. Bernard, I'm going to be over at the University of Minnesota campus. What are you doing? I said, I'm with Catherine, this woman that I met. I really think the world of this woman. He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll come by and pick you up. We'll all go out and have dinner. I said, okay, sounds good, Sid. Here comes the Sid mobile. And there are so many stacks of papers in the car, and I'm not making. Did you ever see Sid Hartman's car? Ever?
Well, in the last 10 years when he had that big black Cadillac.
That's the one.
Okay.
Yep.
He probably had different versions of black Cadillacs over the years, my guess is.
Yep. Catherine had to sit on my lap in the front seat because there was no room in the back seat.
Yeah, so he's doing you a favor.
Yeah, except that's
he's
true.
Making a love connection.
Good point. That's a very, very good point. So she gets on my lap. You have to remember, Catherine's almost 6 feet tall. So for her to sit on my lap in a car is not very comfortable, in the front seat.
Her head's sticking out the window sideways.
Sticking out the window sideways. So what does Sid do? We're going to run it a little late. I'll just take a shortcut. Takes a left into a one-way.
Yeah.
Not with a one-way, but into a one-way. And Catherine goes, Sid, what are you doing? And he goes, don't worry about a thing. I'm Sid Hartman. I got it.
Yep. Yep. I'm telling you, the first time a young Phil Mackey driving out on the roads ever encountered, I was driving, it was like 55 in Winnetka area. This is probably 15, 16 years ago. And I think I was going over to actually Darren Doogie Wolfson's house over in Golden Valley.
Sure. Also
longtime friends of the Hartmans. And so I have a left turn. I'm in the left turn lane, and I get the green arrow. And so I turn left, barreling in from the other side. And there's a red light on the other side, right? Does not stop whatsoever. This massive black Cadillac. And I slam on the brakes. He cuts everyone, and you know how sometimes you kind of drive up. I'm not looking for smoke, but I'm driving up to just see who just almost killed me.
See if they look as dumb as they drive. Yeah.
There's a 90-year-old-ish Sid Hartman just sitting at the next stoplight.
So now, did you ever go to his house in Golden Valley?
No.
Not the one that was on the lake, the one before that. I think it might 2 before that, but I can't remember for sure. I am not exaggerating when I tell you. Sidney was a very wealthy man. He did very, very well in his life. There's no question about it. And don't get me wrong, I loved Sid Hartman. Although the last time I saw him, he did not recognize me, which did break my heart. But I mean, he died shortly after that. But I will never forget. He called, Bernard, come on over to the house, pick me up. We'll go. Oh, I want to go over. Well, he wanted to go to Wisconsin for some damn reason, and he didn't want to drive. He wanted me to drive. I'm like, okay, no problem. I had never been to his house before. I pull up, and I could hear the music. Doodle-doo-doo, 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 doodle-doo-doo. It didn't look like a haunted mansion, for Christ's sake. It's like bats flying around them. I was like, what the hell, Sid?
The ghosts of former Minnesota sports coaches.
Exactly. That's exactly right, man. Oh, Sydney, we miss you, Sid. We love you and we miss you, pal.
Legend. Yep.
All right, so we have anything to look forward to in sports at all?
No.
Well, thanks for your honesty.
No.
Phil, I have a question for you because it was a national story. I talked to AJ a little bit about it before the show, but you being more plugged into kind of the sports scene here locally, you probably have some friends that got a good laugh about it. But Jay Glaser had the audacity to get up on Fox for their pregame show and, make this breaking news that the Vikings are going to potentially trade Kevin O'Connell for a bag of chips to whatever team wants Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, that was super weird. Yeah, I know it's reckless speculation season here, but yeah, the national report there from Fox was that, hey, Kevin O'Connell, teams are reaching out, inquiring about trading for him. It's like, okay, well, that's an instant no. Why would you trade one of the 5 best head coaches in the NFL?
Yeah.
If you're the Vikings.
Can you trade a head coach? I didn't even know you could trade him. I thought you'd had to fire him.
It happened like 20 years ago. John Gruden got traded from the Raiders to the Buccaneers for 2 first-round picks.
I forgot about that.
But the thing is, like, if you have a great coach, you don't have to. You pay him outside of the salary cap. So it's a cheat code if you have one of these guys making $20-25 million. So just pay Kevin O'Connell, lock him up long term. Don't trade him, Vikings. Yeah.
If he plays better, because that was one of the worst football games I have ever seen yesterday.
It was pretty atrocious. Yeah.
It was terrible.
Vikings spent half the night inside the 5-yard line, unable to complete a pass and score a touchdown. It was embarrassing.
What was it again? Was it 5 times they got inside the 7-yard line and didn't come away with 1 point?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, how is that even possible?
No, it's really bad. Yeah, it was terrible.
I mean, right there is 15 points if you just kick a field goal, for Christ's sake.
Well, then they dropped a defensive pick 6 interception. Andrew Van Ginkel had a guaranteed touchdown. He dropped many things.
Tevin's handling it really well, I think.
I'm not great today. I was like, if we didn't take 2 weeks off, I'd probably call in sick and just stay home and cry.
Yes. It was tough, man. I thought, how great it was going to be. You got a couple of weeks off. You'd seen a lot of family and friends and just having a wonderful time, no matter what the holiday. You got, 3 holidays going on at once, so everybody's pretty much happy and all the rest of it. I thought for sure they're going to win that game yesterday. I did. I thought, well, they lost the first one by 2 points?
Yep.
By 2 points. Yeah, there you go. They got smoked from moment one. It was terrible.
Yep. They are the ultimate Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner cartoon, man. Just when you think this is it, finally Wile E. Coyote is going to get one over. Something terrible happens.
You're absolutely right, and that's exactly what it is. Wile E. Coyote just say, sorry, I can't pull it out for you. It's just the way life goes.
Anvil drops on our heads every single time.
God, it does. You have any good news in sports this morning?
I don't, but I do have some entertaining news, and that not to tap dance on, people's graves here, but today is Black Monday in the NFL. Every year, the day after the regular season ends, they call it Black Monday, where like a third of the league's coaches get fired. So this morning, we've already seen a couple press releases. Well, the Patriots didn't even wait till Black Monday. They just fired their coach like 5 minutes after they beat the Bills in Week 18. But Doug Peterson from the Jaguars just got fired like 45 minutes ago, and we'll see who else loses their job in the NFL today.
Is it possible to ever win an NFL title in the state of Minnesota?
No, to this point. The answer has historically the evidence points to no. Tom.
No, it's never going to happen. I mean, you have to understand, I was a little boy. My brother's home from Vietnam, and I am all excited. The team is good. I thought, oh, this is going to be a wonderful 10, 20, 30-year run. No, it isn't. It's not.
I've talked to so many people that saw the first 4 Super Bowls and thought, well, I mean, it does suck that we lost the 4th Super Bowl, but we'll just be back in 2 years anyways, because that's what the Vikings do. They get to the Super Bowl 47 years later, and they have not been back. But they start the playoffs this week. It's a really tough game against the Rams, who are the only other team that's beat them this year. They've only lost to 2 teams, the Lions and the Rams. And again, they play back-to-back Lions and Rams on the road here. So, but they do have a chance to rectify it. Next Monday, they got to beat the Rams.
They have to. You think they will?
No, I don't.
I don't either. So we can agree on that one.
It's early in the week. Check back with me on Friday, and I'll give you my more honed prediction.
To beat the Rams. Are they going to do it?
No.
That'd be crazy.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, God. I got to ask you one more. Did you have to go right away? Because I got to ask you one more thing.
We do have a live Purple Daily coming up here in a few minutes.
When?
I got time for one more. We congregate in 5 minutes to prep for the 9 o'clock live stream.
Can't your lame ass partner carry it for one day?
I mean, he carries everything. Judd carries everything. Judd, I got an email from Judd at like 1:45 in the morning. Like, dude, get 5 minutes of sleep for God's sakes.
Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, well, I won't bother you with it today, but I'll just. There are other things I want to talk about that I just. There are a lot of things happening in the world right now that I just thought would never happen. Let me throw the headline at you, and we won't talk about it without the headline at you. Did you ever think CNN would get to the point where they have absolutely no viewers left at all?
We did tune in for a little bit on New Year's Eve just to watch everyone blasted on live television. That's always entertaining. Yeah. 14 shots of tequila, and I think there was a DJ tripping on LSD at one point. That was interesting. Yep. By the way, we were in Vegas for New Year's Eve last week. We took a little 40-hour trip.
Very nice.
We stayed at Wynn Encore, which is right across the street from the Trump Hotel and Casino, or just hotel. Mm-hmm. And we got up. We were wondering, like, what is that? What is the smoke? And why are there thousands of people being evacuated from Trump right now? What happened? Like, we were literally across the street when that happened last week. It was wild.
Were you really? I mean, because that was loud and bright and smoky. My God, that must have been terrifying.
I'm telling you, Tom, I am a magnet for terrorist attacks. I was a block away. Boston Marathon 2013. I was a block away for those bombings too.
Oh my God.
Felt the ground shake. I mean, don't travel with me, I guess, if you're looking to avoid terrible things.
Hey, Catherine, cancel that dinner with the Mackeys, will you? Just tell them I'm going to be sick or something. Jesus, get away from me. Just having you on screen with me makes me nervous.
You're all in danger right now, yes.
All right, Pally, we'll have a magnificent day. Great to see you again.
All right, we'll see you guys Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Mackey, SKOR North, now talking to Judd Zulgad, also one of my favorite people. Judd is a great guy. Yeah. Oh, way to just jump right in. Both of you, no support at all for Judd Zulgad. Don't worry about it.
I deal with Judd enough.
You're sick of him? Yeah. Are you sick to death of him? Is that the plan? All right, I suppose we better take a break here. But I honest to God, can we ever be any good? Is it ever going to happen?
Yeah, let's take that break, though. I know Ross has like a hard out at 46, so He
does not. He's got nothing to do. Well, you want to do Judd first, and then we can do the break?
Judd's not on today. We've got
it's just Phil.
We just had Phil, and then we got Ross, and then
I didn't mean Judd. I mean Ross is filling in for Chris Egret.
Yes,
he's an Egret, isn't he?
Yes.
We want to do that here, and we can go to the break after that. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. Because if he's got to be out in 3 minutes, we're not going to get to
it. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. Then. Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert is not here, but is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Ross, I'm sorry. I didn't know you had to be out because I'd have brought you in during the whole conversation.
No, that's okay. I was really enjoying it from the background. Everybody's disdain for the history of the Minnesota Vikings this morning is making me giggle. So
I also have a question for you. Now, where do you have to be in 3 minutes?
I also have a prep meeting, that one that Phil was talking about. I have to hop in on it shortly.
Yes, prep meeting.
I got a big Vikings podcast coming up here in about 45 minutes that I have to record as well. So
Oh, you do? Okay.
we're all pumped to talk Minnesota Vikings today on their road to winning 3 playoff games on the road to get to the Super Bowl.
Ross, why do they have to suck so
We're all
badly?
pumped.
Why?
I'll make it quick and then I'll get to a few stories. It's not that they lost last night; it's how they lost, and it was the. I don't want to say Sam Darnold turning into a pumpkin. I actually think if you take if you step back, I actually don't think the team did a ton to help him out last night. And when you have a quarterback like Sam Darnold and you have a quarterback even like Kirk Cousins, you have to do a lot of things well to overcome their deficiencies. And I just don't think the team as a whole was good enough last night. Here's what I can tell you on the news side, because let's take a step back and realize the Vikings, that's just fun. That's something we do to help us get through the day. So we'll talk about the news. It is January 6th. Are we all aware?
Oh God, no! They're going to be putting this up all day to. He's going to free 1,500 criminals, and oh my God! Well, stop ruining people's lives, both of you, on both sides. I don't care if you're a Democrat, you're a Republican. Both parties, get your head out of your ass and stop destroying this country. How about that?
All I'll add to that is they're going to certify an election today, and then in a couple weeks we'll have inauguration day for the second Donald Trump presidency. I also can tell you that Joe Biden signed into law increased Social Security payments for millions of people.
Oh.
That'll go for largely public workers. This boosts Social Security payments for current and former public employees, affecting, they claim again, nearly 300 million people. This is for people who receive pension from time as teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public service jobs. As you can imagine, half the country thinks this is great. Half the country thinks this is terrible. So we leave it there and we move on to a couple of fun ones.
Okay.
Any interest in pumas? Like not the shoes, the actual animal.
Oh, puma. Yes, they're very fast. I know that.
We got a couple of them at the Minnesota Zoo now. They were found abandoned somewhere near.
Oh God!
This says Washington, and I think they mean the state of Washington, not Washington County. I would imagine.
Or Washington Avenue over in North Minneapolis. It could have been there.
Pumas on the loose.
In North Minneapolis.
Blizzard and snow can now be seen at the Minnesota Zoo. They were also found with a third abandoned cub. And I'm one of those people, I do like zoos. It's fun to see these animals that you don't typically get a chance to see. But I always want to know how they got there, because I think we certainly know from the past some animals were, maybe they shouldn't be in a zoo. These ones were found abandoned, and it was determined that they would be better off in an environment like this than rehabilitated and back out into the wild, since they were not around their mother to teach them all the important survival skills that they need. So I'm all for that. I think any type of cat I'm fascinated with, especially if you've ever owned a cat like I do. It is incredible how the little house cat mimics like the big lion, tiger, and puma and all those things that you see out in the wild. Just kind of fun to watch. And then I'll close with this. I'd like to bring you good news. I don't know if this is really good news, but it embraces how much we as Minnesotans, Tom, Tevin, and AJ, we just... You know what? You can make it -20. We say we don't care. We're going to find something to do. Were you aware there's ice castles at the state fairgrounds?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what I think of this. All I remember is being a kid. Tom, is in closing here, I think you'll remember this better than I do. Didn't Minneapolis, St. Paul in the early 90s do a gigantic ice castle?
Yes.
And I remember going to that as a family. I bet you I was 6 or 7. I think that would be more cool, other than seeing just some people's, this sounds really mean, than just your sculptures and ice castles. I want to see the big thing.
The big deal.
Also, I thought it was free. They're charging like $20
to go into the ice castle.
I'll just go look at somebody's snowman and call it good for free.
One of the great lines of all time. I had a friend, Benny, nice African-American fella in America today. And I was a little boy, probably 10, 11 years old. I might have been a little older than that, but I was at his house and his father was there. And I said, well, I won't say the last name because they're private citizens, but Mr. Ben, I'll call him. That's close enough. So, Mr. Ben, what's this whole situation with the, how come the ice castle, they always build it on the south side or they build it downtown? Why don't they ever build it in our neighborhood? And he looks at me and goes, what do you mean? I said, why don't they build the ice castle in our neighborhood? He goes, Tommy, this is North Minneapolis. It'd get repossessed. Which I thought was a pretty good line.
On that note, have a wonderful day and congrats to the Golden Gophers, Duke's Mayo Bowl champions. 6 bowl victories in a row for PJ Fleck. Rah, 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 rah for the U of M. Minnesota. Minnesota.
Hey, by the way,
hey, Gophers. See you guys.
You got a little Duke's Mayo on the front of your shirt there.
I actually find mayo disgusting. That is a separate conversation for a different day.
We'll talk about it a different day. Thank you, sir.
See you, boys.
Ross, a hell of a nice guy. Now he stayed to hear that. I wish he hadn't heard that part.
Out of here.
Honest to God. How great is that, though? No, they can't build that ice castle here to get repossessed.
Yeah, right.
Which I thought was a great line. Channel 5's Chris Eggert was not on today. Ross was carrying the load.
Yes.
Brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom for Livia with exciting news, ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce you to the new Livia. Livia's taking weight loss to the next level. See? The same trusted team of registered dietitians, nutritionists, registered nurses, and you know them. You love them. Look, I've known these people for a while now. Well, I've known some of them for quite some time. Nurses you know and love now offers even more tools for success, including the latest GLP-1 medications for qualifying patients. They do work. There is no question about that. At Livia Weight Control Centers, they do weight loss differently because everyone's needs are unique. You know that. They're you-centric approach. And by the way, I kind of like that. The you-centric approach means a personalized, comprehensive nutrition and lifestyle plan created just for you. Let me put it this way. I went for a walk yesterday. And, I've been on Livia now for, several months. Been several months. Doing very, very well. So I went for a walk yesterday. I walk every day. But I went for a walk yesterday and it's kind of long. I got back and I realized I had walked 7 miles. Now, do I think I could have walked 7 miles back in the day? There's no chance. Not a chance I could have done that. So that's part of my whole Livia situation. It's a good program. I'm never hungry. I like to get out there and take a walk, all the rest of it. And I also love the fact it's like, well, I feel so good that I don't really pay attention to how long I've been walking or whatever. 7-mile walk yesterday, so tip of the cap to the people at Livia. That's all I have to say. You can join today. Get 25% off Livia's award-winning program. Trust the local experts who've been helping clients lose weight and keep it off for 15 years. With 9 convenient Livia centers, there's never been a better time to start. Visit Livia.com or call 855-GO-LIVIA to schedule your free consultation. Do not wait. Let's make this your year to succeed, and you will. Hey, look, if I can succeed, you can succeed. Livia, we do weight loss differently.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Yeah, baby. What did I do with the MyPillow script? I know it was here somewhere. There it is. I had to cover it up with Kim Coates' picture. That's where it was. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you. They're making it through. Mike Lindell and his employees want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows now for only $14.98. Yes, I said $14.98. I cannot believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98, but it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get My Body Pillows for $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TOM or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now is only $14.98. Queens at $18.98 and Kings only $1 more. Not only that, orders $75 or more ship absolutely free. They are my friends, as you know, been my friends for a long time. MyPillow, Mike Lindell, they do a great. I got a couple other people working with them. They're nice people too, but I'll mention them at a later date. But yeah, MyPillow, baby. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Sandy.
Yes, sir.
Get off my show. I don't want to talk any sports.
Well, it really is not sports we'd be talking. We'd be talking debacle, devastation, embarrassment.
Oh, Bob, I want you to do one thing for me.
Yeah.
I want to do a couple minutes here, then I want to take a break, and I want you to be on with. Can you stay on with us till 10 after 9?
Yeah.
Because Kim Coates is going to be on, so I want you to be on during the Kim Coates interview.
Sure.
Because I want to make sure we get, whenever we have Italians on, I want to make sure we got it covered.
Kim Coates is Italian?
No, but you are.
Oh, I was going to say, what?
So it all works out in the end. That was one horrendous football game, Bob.
Well, here's the good news. We won't have to hear any more, oh, Kevin O'Connell should be coach of the year. You know that, Tom, that old name association game? You say a name and then, Kevin O'Connell sucked. Sam Darnold sucked.
Yep.
And team sucked in the second half. At halftime, I watched with my sons and some of their friends, and I said it's over because he does not make halftime adjustments, or rarely does. He makes none.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Bob.
At halftime, and they got clobbered. And I wrote this. Other people have said it too. He tried to out Campbell with those fourth down plays.
Yeah, right.
He has to learn how to read the room. When your quarterback is so off on the previous 3 plays, kick the ball unless you've decided Reichert can't make a short field goal, and that's why you're doing it. Reichert was abysmal too. You look at all the kickers who got hurt this year. Mm-hmm. Most of them who've come back have not kicked well at all. They better get Parker Romo off of the Patriots practice squad because I'd have him on my team. Now I didn't notice this, but Dave Bialke told me this morning that it wasn't even Reichert who kicked off in the second half. They had the punter kick off.
God.
I mean, that's an indictment. Your guy sucks.
There's no question about it.
But so many suck. And here's the other, and this is something I said often throughout this year. Darnold has great protection, but he takes too much time. He has to get rid of the ball.
No doubt.
And how they thought that he would be cozy back there with no pressure. The Lions had to do something. Their only chance was to blitz. And by the way, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, the 2 coordinators, to me, they're the 2 top guys I'd be going after if I had a team. Aaron Glenn was phenomenal with the game he called, and so was Ben Johnson.
Bob, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is it just that I'm getting, a different era of my life or whatever? Because I was about, a couple of thousand miles away. Whenever they show the coach of the Detroit Lions,
Campbell,
I get fear in my heart. Boy, he looks like a tough guy.
Well,
is he as tough as he looks?
I think he is. He's scared his team to lose. If they lost, they'd have his wrath.
I'm not kidding you. That guy looks like he could kick some ass. Whoa.
Well, you say, and this goes back to when Bernsey was the coach, that teams take on the personality of their coach. That team has taken on his personality.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Bob. Very, very good point. Why don't we take that break here, come back. We'll get Kim Coates involved, Bob Sansevere with Kim Coates. I mean, who can say in their lifetime, you remember that time back in I can't remember what year it was, but we had Bob Sansevere and Kim Coates on at the same time. This is historical, what's about to happen.
Sure is.
Oh, boy, don't sound so over the top involved.
Oh, no. I love it. I can't. I'm like shivering here.
We'll be right back. Bob and Kim Coates right after this.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot.
Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said, so why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Yes, you are. Bob Sansevere with us. Let me know when Kim's ready to go, and we'll get it done.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that call with Kim. They might be running a few minutes behind, but I know we got Mr. Sansevere with us, so we're all set, regardless.
Mr. Sansevere.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Arabarandi barundi. That's all I have to say to you. So, Bob, what else happened in the world, Pally?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get the Gophers. Who gives a rip that they won a stupid bowl game? Oh, and by the way, I love the PJ Fleck afterward. He talked about how, it being a champion.
Oh, my God.
You won a freaking Mayo Bowl where the announcers, maybe the most embarrassing display ever by a couple of announcers eating that stupid mayo on with bananas and putting it on a Dove bar. If I were Dove, I would sue. How about the one guy spit it in the garbage and retched?
Yeah.
That couldn't have been good for the money they paid. But
I don't understand it either, Bob. I just don't get it.
You know what? There always got to be a Midland team. They got a Midland coach. They got a Midland athletics director. And by the way, did you know that there's some ranking out there? The Gophers are ranked 3 behind the Tommies in D1. And that is, and the Tommies, John Tower does a great job, but you're a D1 basketball team. You're not like the lower level D1 like St. Thomas, but you're not viewed as good as a team with no scholarships.
Oh, God.
Shame on you. Get rid of
I
your
agree.
AD and clean house over there.
It might be time. You're absolutely right. No question about it.
And by the way, I wanted to just mention this about the next Monday night. I hate the idea of a Monday night game because it is unfair to the team that wins and advances because they have a short week. But I've been wrong before. I thought this game would go over. I thought it'd be a high-scoring game. But I do think because they have 3 losses, the Vikings, 2 to the Lions, 1 to the Rams, who they have to play. Kevin O'Connell is going to get schooled by his mentor, Sean McVay, because he did in that last game. I mean, I don't. I think it's. I actually said that I thought if they won this game last night, they could go to the Super Bowl. I also said they could be one and done if they don't win the game. And right now, didn't that feel like when you're watching that, even though the playoffs are before them, that the season was over with that loss? It felt like
they're not going to win. Yeah, they're not going to win.
It felt like it was over.
Yep. Look, I've been a Viking fan since my brother came home, like I said, in the late 60s, early 70s, whatever the hell it was. They're not going to win this next game, are they? Historically, they never win this next game.
No, they have to travel to go on the road. And also, again, he's going against a guy who taught him much of what he knows. So I just don't see it happening. And also, the template is there to play the Vikings. You blitz Darnold, and he's going to fold like a cheap bingo chair.
A bingo chair? I don't even know what the hell that is.
You know, you get those little wooden chairs when you play bingo at some of these old churches.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to you. Yes, I know exactly what you're referring to.
No, they stack them on the rack on the side of the room. They're easy to fold up.
How much money do you think he cost himself last night? Unless he comes back in a big way.
I think it depends on if he wins this weekend or not, or I guess next month.
Yeah. Especially because quarterbacks are measured on what do you do when the stakes are the highest, and he completely wet the bed, so he probably cost himself.
You know, and he did. But the one thing I also will say is they were some bad throws, but Justin Jefferson could have made some of those catches. He's getting $40 million a year. I mean, they were not catches that were uncatchable. And I don't know what happened. I mean, they thought they would take advantage of it because they were in man. He did miss a lot of throws. I mean, Addison on one of those end zone throws was wide open.
Yep.
And, you know, because he didn't have time to go through every progression more than once, which he often has time to do. So they are going to blitz the hell out of him on Monday night. And we'll see how he holds up against that. That Rams team is it's a team that could be dangerous to whoever they play because they're getting better.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And they have potentially better top 2 receivers than Detroit did when you look at Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. And their running back is one of the best in the league in Kyron Williams. And the backup, Blake Corum, who played at Michigan, is very good. And by the way, speaking of Michigan, at the end of the game, that did not look like J.J. McCarthy. It looked like a 12-year-old kid they showed on the sideline. I mean, they showed Daniel Jones, who's a strapping guy, and then they showed McCarthy, who just looked like he was a tiny little thing. I think Jones could wind up being the quarterback next year because I mean, if they lose against the Rams and there's a similar performance by your quarterback, you don't put the money out for him.
No, there's no way they can keep him around if he fails that miserably. He was terrible yesterday. Yeah. And I mean terrible.
I don't think they hoisted him on his shoulders last night.
Yeah, probably not. You're probably right about that. We're going to have to rebook him, huh?
Yeah, I'm guessing there was
all right, we'll just.
I wanted to ask him, how many guys do you know who played Stanley Kowalski and Macbeth?
Yeah, well, there you go.
And he's had 2 of the greatest demises in film history. Do you remember The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis? How he got his demise on that. And then in Open Range, Kevin Costner. I love that scene. Because usually most Westerns, they let him talk and chat and blah, blah, blah. Never get to him. Costner, right to the melon. He took him out instantly.
Well, there you go. See, that you would have been. Did I make the right call or not? We should have had Bob on during the interview.
I know.
Then the guy doesn't show up.
He's a great bad guy in movies.
He is.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He is.
You know, he
gets a look on his face. He can get a look on his face, Bob.
But that's what I like about him because the guy can act. Hey,
no, he can't.
Macbeth and Kowalski.
You're absolutely right, Sandy. But look how you saved the show. The show would have been in the toilet right now if it weren't for Bob Sansevere.
This is where I get the call later. Hey, thanks, Bob, but we'll see you some other time. By the way, when you do have Coates on, ask him this. Ask him to do like a little excerpt of Stanley Kowalski as Macbeth and Macbeth as Stanley Kowalski.
No, you come on for phenomenal. That. If we do rebook him, you're going to have to come on for that.
You let me know. I'm there.
You let me know, Tom.
You let me know. I'll come on. We'll talk, And,
on vacation, I had to tell you something.
Yeah.
I was in an area where a lot of you people, and by that I mean Northeasterners,
yeah, I know
New York, Jersey, all the rest of it.
It's cold.
Everybody I talked to the last couple, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Where'd you get that shirt? I love that. I just love that.
You have got a few New Yorkers there, and you're right. Jersey, New York. Do you get a lot of? Is it Connecticut, Massachusetts too, or mostly Jersey and New York?
That's mostly Jersey and New York. Yeah, mostly. A lot of that, what you just talked about, like the Boston area people, they tend to go down to Miami.
Oh, they have their spot.
They have a spot in Miami, but here there's a lot of people from your area.
Yeah,
which I love, by the way.
It's a great part of town. But before I forget, have you watched the David Chase? It's a two-parter. I think it's on Max about the Sopranos, the making of it, and all the people that were considered for every role, and that so much of it is based on his upbringing with his mom, who basically was Livia. Tony
wait a minute!
Soprano's mom.
Is this the one where they do all the separate interviews and it's like piece by piece?
Yes,
I have seen some of that. That is good. It's really
phenomenal because you learn so much about it and how they all got their roles.
Yep,
and it was great casting. It's just perfect. And the best one was.
Wait a minute.
What? It wasn't great casting.
I mean, you and AJ and Tevin, you're doing a good job. I wouldn't call it great. I thought you were talking about yourself.
No, we would never do that.
No. We would never do that.
Our casting sucks. Who blew this?
That would be me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Job. David Chase of radio, not
the David. No, you're absolutely right about that. That is a damn good show because there's a live interview after interview after interview, and it's really good.
Well, the one part that really I loved was Tony Siric, who played Paulie Walnuts.
Yep.
The guy would spend hours getting his hair right.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And yeah. They had the scene in the, where he had to go out in the woods in the Pine Barrens, and they wanted him to be disheveled. He refused, and they had to talk him into it because it messed up his hair. But it was one of the greatest scenes ever because you never see him like that. And he was Paulie Walnuts, his hair all askew. Phenomenal.
You know what I'm going to do, Bob, because we got to move on to our break here. But
sure.
If Kim Coates calls in, I'm going to say, "Who's this?" He goes, "Oh, it's Kim Coates." I said, "Bob Sansevere told me Kim Coates was a woman." Then I'll just hang up.
I thought it was a woman. I mean, I thought she worked for like City Pages or one of those local brands.
City Pages, exactly. Sandy, you're the best in the business. I knew you'd be great. Be great.
Is City Pages still around? No.
I don't believe so, no.
They couldn't find any more negative things to write about me, so they went out of business.
They thought Tom retired, so they just shut him down.
You were good fodder for them. All right, AJ. AJ's giving the cut move.
Well, that was City Page just shutting it down like, he's done. Let's.
You're just trying to tell Tom, hey, cut it, Tom. Let's get rid of this guy.
Are any of those around him? The Reader? None of those are around. Well, there's no newspapers at all anymore, hardly anyway. I think still got some, but nobody reads them.
You got your Star Tribune and your PP.
And your PP. I was just looking at my PP just now. Thank you very much. Great to be here. All right, Sandy, we'll talk to you later.
I live for that. See ya.
You're the best, pal.
No, you. Yeah.
Bob Sansevere saves us from a disaster of not having a guest who was supposed to be on, but that does happen when you come back from vacations, that kind of thing. It does happen. But I like Kim Coates a lot. I hope he does rebook. He's a hell of an actor. Yeah, Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. I mean, he's been in so much, and like you both were saying, I mean, he is like, you see him and you're like, okay, I know who the villain's going to be, but he's going to play it damn well. So.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Now we got to put up with another Northeast person. Why did I do to myself? I booked all the people on this show to be on this show. Why did I choose so many people from the Northeast of the United States?
You got a affliction, an affection,
affliction, affection.
No, affinity. You have an affinity.
Affinity. There you go. We'll go with affinity. I like affinity. All right, we shall take a break. Be right back. Kristyn Burtt will join us right after. What?
Before we do that, do you mind reading the outro for Bob before we head to that break?
There's an outro for Bob?
Yes. Otherwise, I've got it right here if you want me to take it.
Yeah, why don't you do that? That sounds good.
Bob Sansevere, sponsored by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. All right.
Well, that was very good, I thought.
It was mediocre.
What did you think of the read there, Tevin?
It's no Tom Bernard, but
yeah. Okay.
I read words on a page, and that's fine.
KB2 is up next, right after this.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and ship issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast. And I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBernardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBernardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You horn tootin'. What do you think of that action? Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. KB2, I need your help with something.
Okay.
As we went on vacation for the holidays and all the rest of it. Longest vacation I've ever taken in my life, as a matter of fact.
It was a long 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks. Yeah, I've never done that before. But I was going to come back at the end of 2 weeks and announce that I was going to retire in a couple of years. And as I went along, and I suppose maybe, I'm not certain about this, but the things that happened, in New Orleans and the things that happened out in Vegas, and then we find out our sports reporter was he been near every disaster that ever happened in America?
Yeah, he was across the street when the Cybertruck went.
Oh, in Vegas.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Did we ever figure? Did they really know why that guy did that?
He was going through a lot in his personal life. I do know that.
Well, I go through a lot with you three, and I don't blow cars up.
I know.
Maybe I will now, but but here's the problem that I have. Kristyn, I needed you on for this because basically I got you and Catherine to talk to about this kind of stuff. So I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. What am I going to do here? Because I was going to come back and announce that I was going to retire in a couple of years or a year and a half or something and just move on. I don't know that I can do that. As I got through the week, it's like, wait a minute. I got another week off. What am I going to do for a week? I got nothing to do. I don't know that I can ever retire. That's not good, is it?
I think, this is my thought. I think some people can retire and just travel and hang out and play golf and do all those things. And I think other people thrive in a working environment, and it keeps you young and youthful because you're engaging with people every single day. And you may be one of those people. I feel like I will be one of those people too that prefers maybe not to work 80 hours a week, but I feel like I'm someone who will probably always have some type of job because I thrive on the interaction.
It's so weird because I would say the last 3-4 days, I didn't really see it coming, but I literally got more depressed every day. It's like, what am I doing? I got nothing to do. I love hanging out with Catherine, and the family was in town for a short bit of it. And, it was great. It was a wonderful time, but I don't know if I can ever retire. I can't just wander the streets. I can't do it.
That's okay. I think that both of them, we don't want you wandering the streets either, by the way. America does not want that happening, sir.
No, I suppose you're right about that, but
but I think I also think like if I were just 100% retired doing nothing besides maybe like rotting on the couch, which is a great pastime of mine, I would also drive Bill crazy. And you might drive Catherine a little batty without just a little something to do every day.
Did you do that because I'm looking through the back window and there she is bringing the dog back? So you'll drive Catherine insane, Tom. It'll be wonderful.
It'll be great. I don't know. I just understand that. I feel like you need that same interaction that I do with people.
I really miss doing this show. The longest I had ever taken off before, I think I had taken 6 days straight off, work days, before I'd never taken, 10 straight work days off like that. And honestly, the last 3-4 days, I literally got depressed because I had nothing. I'm not talking about hanging out with the family, going to dinner. I still love all that stuff. But I just never realized this is part of my life's blood, for God's sake.
Yeah, I will tell you, it was a very long break. I feel like I've been gone from you guys for over a month.
I know.
And it was strange. I did work through this 2 weeks. I did some holiday coverage right as we went to break. The Blake Lively story broke. So I had a lot to do. Usually it's a very slow, sleepy time between Christmas and New Year's. And it was not this year. And I did Golden Globes last night.
Right.
I was on the red carpet. So I feel like I've been shot out of a cannon. Because I got home around 10, had to wrap up some work around 11, and then 5 a.m. rolled, and here I am. And I'm like, whoa. But I will tell you that those 2 weeks were a very, very long time because I am so used to getting up and talking to you guys and kicking off my day. 1 week is one thing, but the second week, I'm like, it felt like a month.
I know. You're absolutely right about it. And the biggest problem, well, actually, I got to do this again. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Just doing that, I love. But the thing that really got to me, I think, because when I do this show, I have a lot of planning to do and what are we going to talk about tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. But I literally got more and more depressed at the end of this past 7 days. And I didn't realize it was just, I kind of felt like I had no purpose. That's not good, is it?
No, that's not good. And maybe you needed to do those 2 extra days after New Year's. I don't know. The January. Some people had to go back to work January 2nd. Maybe we should come back. I don't know. Your listeners missed you. A lot of them reached out over the holidays. We're very sweet. I spoke to a lot of them yesterday, even just they were all just curious about Golden Globes and things like that. So they definitely missed your show.
That's very sweet to hear. And I'll give you an example. I started doing a lot of reading, hopping online, reading different press releases, things like that. There's not a lot of great news to read right now. I mean, with people blowing cars up and other people, killing tons of people in New Orleans. And I love New Orleans, by the way. I spent some time there several years ago. Actually, after that I guess it wasn't really, it was a hurricane, I guess. I spent a lot of time going down there and helping people out and all that stuff, which, Catherine inspired me to do. Going down to help people after a disaster like that was magnificent. So I have an affection for New Orleans because of that, because they got nailed by that thing.
Katrina was terrible.
It was terrible.
New Orleans is one of the greatest cities in the United
Love
States.
it.
I will die on that hill on that one. I have such an affection for the city.
Yep, me too.
I really do.
So you know what I get to read instead? I'm sitting around reading. Yes, the ratings. CNN's ratings are like -2. What is going on with the media now in America? Because you had your Fox and you had your CNN, and they were kind of shoulder to shoulder and blah, 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 blah. A lot of that now has fallen off the face of the earth. Are people just sick of a one-sided message like Fox and CNN delivers?
People are tuning out of mainstream media.
They are.
I think the election kind of just was the final tipping point for everybody.
Yep.
And I don't think that in the 4 years where Trump had a very large audience on both sides, I don't think people are as captivated with the second administration. Some people out of fear, some people just out of tired of the news cycle. And I think you're going to see a lot of people tuning into. I think it's going to be a great time for fiction, scripted shows, books, art. Music. I think that this is going to be a very creative 4 years, and I'm kind of looking forward to that side of it. But I do think people are going to tune out of the news. And who wants to wake up on a brand new day in the new year and hear about horrific tragedies?
I know.
I mean, we should be aware of it because we should all be aware of ourselves in large group settings and things like that now. But at the same time, you don't want to hear about all of the lives that were lost. I mean, it's so sad.
And the constant wrangling between the Trump camp and the Biden camp. Let's be honest. If you pick both Biden and Trump, are they really your kind of people? No, they're not. I mean, I've met Trump a couple of times, had lunch with him actually one time. I thought he was a very nice guy to me, but is he my kind of guy? No. Is Biden my kind of guy? No, he's not. So maybe that was part of it.
Jimmy Carter over, the holidays.
loved Jimmy Carter. I don't know if he was the greatest president ever, but as a human being, I never got to meet him in person, but I talked to him several times.
I did.
Did you really?
I did in Atlanta.
I really liked him. Yeah.
I was doing a tech conference, and I was hosting an event for a particular booth, and he came by and stopped by the booth because this was when the tech boom was really happening. So I'm going to say this was somewhere around maybe 2003, 2004, that type of thing. And he came around and greeted everybody, and such a kind, gentle man, and stayed on top of a lot of things. I feel like his greatest legacy is what he did after the White House, not necessarily what he did in the White House.
Yeah.
And I don't think many presidents can say that.
No, he was like I said, I never got to sit down with him face to face, talk to him on the phone a couple of times, which was a thrill for me. I don't think he was a great president, just like I don't think either Trump or Biden has been a great president. We'll see. And nothing against them. I'm not telling you voted for the wrong person. That's not what I mean at all. I think, let me put it this way. Let me run this by the three of you and see if you agree with this. If you want to be president of the United States, you're not my kind of person. Does that make sense?
Who wants the job?
Yeah, if you want that job, you're not my kind of person. I'm just telling you. Right? Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. But I literally got depressed the last 3 days. I'm just walking, I went for a walk yesterday. just going to take a little walk, go out and walk a couple of miles or whatever. I walked 7 miles before I got back home. Just thinking about all this stuff is like, I don't know that I can ever leave the show. I might not make it if I ever leave the show. I love doing this. I love hearing everybody's different opinions about everything. In a way, it was depressing as hell because, I'd like to sit around on my ass like most people do.
Well, we want you to make it, so just keep doing the show. Is that the answer, the conclusion we've all reached?
I guess that's what it is. But I didn't see that coming, though. I got to be honest with you. Because 7 days, you're kind of recouping and you're recovering from working your ass off and all the rest of it. 7 days. But I don't think I'll ever take 2 weeks off again in a row. It was just too long. It was way too long.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Now, lesson learned. And
Right.
when you have your next 2-week vacation planned, you better pack your mic with you and you can do the show from wherever you are.
I'm going to have to. I mean, that's all there is to it. I'm going to have to do that because I literally got depressed. I'm like, why am I so depressed?
My mic travels with me all over the U.S.
I don't blame you.
Yep.
I really don't blame you. I mean, it was kind of depressing, too, because the show starts, and here I am with Tevin and AJ, so I got depressed again, but for a different reason,
Do we have to come back?
You're like,
Exactly.
New Year, same crew.
There you have it. But I just wanted you to know that I really missed. I'll never take 2 weeks off again. It's never going to happen. I just
All right,
can't do it.
I'm going to hold you to that. The next time you tell me you have a 2-week vacation.
It ain't going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Tevin, you know.
I think I can do 9 or 10 days, maybe, but not
Are you
16.
packing that mic? AJ's going to pack you a little kit.
Yeah, packing like a mom would do for school lunch. Yeah, just
A little radio lunch kit.
headphones and your microphone and all that stuff. Just so you have.
So I did try to watch, a lot of different shows and a couple of movies and all that stuff, trying to keep up with what's going on in the world. Anything new coming up for 2025 that is going to improve things?
Well, I'm going to talk Golden Globes. I just think because it was so timely and I was there last night, and it kind of gives you a hint of what everyone is watching and not watching. Because by tomorrow, no one will care about the Golden Globes.
First and foremost, how did your velvet tux hold up?
Where do you get a velvet tux?
What?
Oh, she was looking fabulous.
On the red carpet, posing. We got the full list of the rundown for where all the jewelry was from, where the shoes were from, who she was wearing. It was fantastic.
Who did the hair and makeup? Yeah. This is like the leftover hair because I did not wash my hair last night when I got home. I washed my face, brushed my teeth, the hair.
My leftover hair. That's nice. That's good.
Second day hair is good. Ladies understand this. Second day hair is always good. Yeah, so velvet tux. Well, let me just say one thing about my velvet tux is that normally the Golden Globes, absolutely freezing. Last year was a windstorm. The year before was a rainstorm. And so I thought I'm going to go outside the box and wear something warm so I feel really good. Well, it was over 70 degrees yesterday and blazing sun. And here I am in my velvet tux and I'm like, oh my God. Thank goodness I only wore a really light tank top underneath. I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I do a cool chic turtleneck. Thank God I didn't because I would have died. But it was fine because once the sun went down and then I went back to the press room, it was chilly. It was fine. But it just was funny posing for photos. I'm like, I am sweating. The weather had different plans. But last night, Nikki Glaser, I think she totally turned around the narrative of Jo Koy from last year. She did a great job.
Yeah, yep.
It was funny, nailed the jokes. Roasted Hollywood, but maybe not so far as Ricky Gervais, because I don't think anyone can do what Ricky Gervais does.
Yeah.
She kind of stayed in her lane. TV shows, though, it was all about Shogun. It was all about The Bear, of course. Hacks. I think things that we kind of really expected, and Shogun's getting a second season. We know Bear is currently shooting another season. Hacks is currently in the middle of shooting another season. So we are definitely seeing those narratives continue. Movie-wise, though, Demi Moore just put herself as the front runner for the Oscar.
Really?
Yes, for the Substance. And she had an incredible speech last night about being dismissed by Hollywood. And here she is at 62, thriving, looking better than ever, and Hollywood's finally waking up.
I wish that all media would wake up, because they tried to move on to different things, and every move they've made in the last few years has been really bad, I think. I got to be honest with you. I mean, doing exactly what you're talking about. She's a very talented person, don't you think?
She's incredibly talented. And I think last night we saw a lot of women, like Jodie Foster won also for Fargo.
Love her.
Another woman over 60. You have Pamela Anderson in her late 50s nominated for The Last Showgirl, which I watched over the break. Really fast movie, like an hour and 28 minutes, but the best you've ever seen Pamela Anderson. The movie's okay, but her performance is stunning in it. Kathy Bates is what, in her 70s? Nominated for Matlock. So we're Jean Smart, of course, won for Hack. So we're seeing like women finally thriving in a town that for so long said, if you're over 40, we don't have a role for you. And now we're seeing women over 60, over 70 still working. So that's incredible.
And I like the young women too, like Lioness. Lioness is a hell of a good show.
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana. I'll try and get the video up. Last night in the press room, she made a speech. She won for Amelia Perez, the film. But of course, she's working in Lioness too. But just talking about her career and where she is, and just the fact that certain people in her career have really believed in her. She was practically sobbing her eyes out. And this was backstage in the press room. This wasn't even on stage in front of, millions. And there's little Selena Gomez in the back, because the whole cast was there for Amelia Perez. And she's being like the mom, taking like snapshots and video of the whole thing. It was really a sweet moment. But you felt Zoe's like passion and how personal that win was for her last night.
No, it is a wonderful thing, but it's just so great to be back, sitting in the chair, talking to my pals and you three. See, I still have to take a shot at you, because that's what I do for, But no, I didn't realize it was going to nail me as badly as it did. 1 week I can do, maybe even 9-10 days, but 2 weeks it'll never happen again, because
we're holding you to that now. I don't know.
It didn't work. I love our audience, the responses I get from people, and we had a big discussion on social media about the FBI. The FBI's got a lot of problems right now. And we had a nice talk about that. It's a very, very serious topic, obviously. But then we had some laughs. I heard they sent some jokes my way and all the rest of it.
I'm still mad at the FBI for bungling the entire Larry Nassar USA Gymnastics investigation.
Absolutely.
They did such a disservice to young girls and adult female athletes who were all abused by him, because they had this and then they dropped it. And until the and this is where local journalism really comes into play. I believe it's the Indy Star is the one that finally picked up the story, because the USA Gymnastics headquarters is in Indiana, and 3 reporters worked very hard on it and broke the story. And that's when, the FBI wound up getting sued over that case. They had to pay out to all of the survivors.
I might have to sue the FBI myself.
For what?
Many years ago, this couple of people stole $3 million from me. We brought in the FBI. The guy was the nicest guy in the world, wonderful, doing a great job. All of a sudden, he just disappeared, and these 2 other agents showed up. They wouldn't even make eye contact with me. I could tell they hated my guts. They hated my show. They didn't like my politics and all the rest of it. That's not your job, asshole. Your job is to protect the people, protect the law. The FBI doesn't do that anymore. The FBI is a goddamn disaster. I will say that. And if you want to throw me in jail for saying that, hook me up. I'm ready.
Well,
you're a disaster.
If they weren't willing to protect 14, 15, 16-year-old girls.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. We need to do something about the FBI. It is a complete disaster. I'm glad you brought this up. Now I'm in a really good mood because I got to rip the shit out of somebody.
Welcome back. Happy 2025.
Welcome back.
Can we rip one more person before we go?
As long as it's Tevin.
I can't. It's actually not Tevin. This is somebody that's near and dear to all of our hearts on this show, especially I know Kristyn. I saw a video clip, and I was going to send it to you 3 days ago.
This is on my list. I know exactly what it is. I'm so excited. Go, AJ. Go.
Hilaria Baldwin was there was a viral clip of her in the kitchen cooking over the holidays, and it was amazing because she was making a dish and she's doing her thing, and then just conveniently forgets the word onions. She's like, I forget what you call those, but it's like, you know what an onion is, lady? Okay,
what?
I have information that you're from Maine. Or what? Boston?
Massachusetts. She's from Massachusetts.
Doesn't matter. You're from a place that knows what an onion is. You know the word for onions. Why are we putting up with this facade?
She's like Ceballos.
It's so annoying.
I thought it's on my list today because I was laughing so hard. I was like, she is not serving up more cucumber for us. She is. And Hilaria is just... I cannot wait for this disaster of a reality show because she's going to be forgetting English words and all the little Baldwinitos once TLC releases this show. It is going to be a train wreck, and I cannot wait.
I will close with this, and it's very painful to say, but I really missed you guys. I've missed working with you for 2 weeks, and it's really painful for me to say that. Oh, you're hilarious. Yep. Cover your eyes up. You look like an FBI agent.
I have allergy eyes today. My eyes are leaking.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I'm actually not crying. I cry on the show all the time, but I'm actually not crying right now. But that is...
You cry because you're on the show?
Yes.
Why am I here again?
Why am I here? What is going on? I think tomorrow we should break down the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni thing because that was a huge story. And it's too big for just 2 seconds. So.
All right. But I did miss you all, and I'm not making that up. There's no... I missed this show. It literally got emotionally painful the last 4 days. So,
well, we don't want you to be in pain, and your listeners did miss you. I know that they like to DM me, so, and they tell me how much they miss you.
Well, I don't think you'll ever miss me again because I can't do that to myself again. I'm wandering the streets for 7 miles of walks, going, "What am I going to do today?
Why?
Somebody put a microphone in front of me. Stop."
He's walking down the street like this. I just want to see AJ's radio lunch pack. That's what he has to pack every time he goes on vacation now.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's great to be back, and we will talk to you tomorrow. All three of you. Right. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. FDIC, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Yeah, I never thought I would be in a position to admit that, but I was miserable not being on this show last week.
Yeah,
1 week's enough.
Yeah, it definitely felt like too long. Like it got to the point where I saw a Fresh Pet dog food commercial, and it, like the dog was the same kind of dog as Jude, and it was a mob themed commercial. Like they're all doing like the Italian accent and everything, and I was like, I bet Tom would love this commercial.
I would love that commercial. Exactly.
Like too much time away.
Disregard the ad. Just like, you know what, Tom would this.
You know what? I'll close with this. We're taking Jude for a lot of walks and all the rest of it, but he, honest to God, that dog, he can tell. I don't care if it's one little flake of food somewhere. He can be walking along, all of a sudden he'll turn a hard left, and you go over and it's like, oh, there must be a restaurant over there. That boy can look for food, man. There's no doubt about it. He's thin as a rail. He's in great shape, but he loves his chow, man.
Oh yeah,
and no doubt about that. So yes, we will be a nice look you made on you got on your face there when I told you they got ripped off for $3 million.
Oh, like because
true story though. That's a true story.
There would be somebody's got to go if they stole $3 million from me.
The first guy could not have been. I should probably have him on because he's retired now. He's a really, really good guy. But these two people they brought in later, they couldn't wait to screw me over. And that's not the job of the FBI.
Oh, when you said you should probably have him on, I thought you meant like the guy that took the $3 million from you, and that would be a hell of a show.
Yes.
Well, again, if I get to shoot him in the head at the end of the interview, that'd be good. All right, fellas, it's great to be back with you. I missed working with you. I'm not kidding you. I really, really missed doing this show. So I'm glad we're all back, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to you then.
Family show up in a couple minutes.